And so to me, one of the silver lining of the very dark cloud in which we find ourselves is that if we're going to deal with this problem of climate that we've run into, the biggest problem we've ever run into, one of the things we're going to have to do is figure out how to relocalize a lot of our economy and our lives.
Do you think this recession that we're in will help?
I think it in certain ways at least points up the problem. I mean, think about the phrase that came to mark the beginning, anyway, of this recession. The sort of the phrase "too big to fail." Okay, that was the problem. Well, in kind of Congress or whatever, that became the sort of meaning of that was we can't let it fail, we will bail it out at whatever cost or whatever. But the real meaning of that phrase, if you stop and think about it for a minute, is anything that's too big to fail is too big. You know, we shouldn't have anything too big to fail. And it's not just our banking system where that's true. Our energy system is exactly the same way, and so is our agricultural system. You know, they're all enormously centralized and enormously vulnerable, and need to change, and are starting to change. We can see the beginnings of where that's going to go, and it's wonderful. I talked before about how farmers markets were the fastest growing part of the food economy. What's good about that, and even more than the ecological effects, and even more than the sort of culinary pleasure, I mean, you know, I traveled 2,000 miles today. I know what I feel like. That's what the tomato also feels like. You know? But even more than that, okay, the real value of the farmer's market is that it's a different experience. A couple of years ago, a pair of sociologists followed shoppers around the farmer's market. First, they followed around the supermarket. Everybody here's been to the supermarket. You know how it works. You walk in, you fall into a light fluorescent trance, you visit the stations of the cross down the market. You
listen to Celine Dion.
Exactly. You emerge with the same basket of items somehow that you had the week before. That's it. When people went to the farmer's market, they had on average 10 times more conversations per visit. Not 10% more, 10 times more, okay? Beginning this kind of process of re-knitting. The only odd part about the whole thing, of course, is that we think of the farmer's market as this great chic thing that we have invented. This is how every human being on earth shopped for food until 75 years ago, and now 80% of the world still does. You know, the supermarket was the strange, odd invention that intervened for a little while, and happily, it'll go away.
We have a good number of writers who will be watching this program and in the audience. What kind of advice would you give to writers today?
I don't know. I may be the wrong person
No, you're the right guy
to ask on this question.
Go to more farmers markets.
Because my writing and my sort of sense of things that I'm, deeply care about, whatever, overlap pretty profoundly. So it's been a long time since I've never really thought that much about writing and how to do it. I never took a course about how to do it or whatever. But it does seem to me somehow that it has to involve things that are really important to you to make it worth the trouble of doing it.
Yeah. In conclusion, I'm going to ask you to do something.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to read. I'm going to ask you to read, starting at the line I've got marked there. Okay, this is the last several lines from The Age of Missing Information, written 20 years ago, almost. Just start there.
This must be. What can you see what this is?
You want to check the front of it, make sure it's yours.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a long time since I've seen this book. But this was just kind of at the end of this. There was just kind of some stream of consciousness. I was just sort of reporting what was on all these channels at one point in the morning. So I guess this is what this is.
Read it all the way to the end.
The financial markets, according to ABC, are waiting for the new unemployment figures. It all has to do with how those new unemployment numbers show up. Too many new jobs could tip the Fed into raising interest rates. Car sales rose a cheerful 4.1% in the first 10 days of April, but business travel to St. Louis will be delayed 1 hour and 5 minutes due to fog. The traffic copter notes that someone on the shoulder of Muddy Branch Road is changing his tire. On country music television, a singer laments that pretty girls are a dime a dozen and I only got a nickel to my name. Some oldsters are sitting on a sofa being interviewed for a plumbing ad. When I was a girl, water didn't come to us, we went to water. We had a well and we pumped her. Colors, I don't remember any. Styles, we had styles of dresses, not faucets. On Now You're Cooking, a lady is making pigs in a blanket with a super snacker. We have a pact in our house. The first one up plugs in the super snacker. And on the pond, the duck is just swimming back and forth, his chest pushing out a wedge of ripples that catch the early rays of the sun.
Bill McKibben, thank you so much for being here.